Hi everyone, Jessica Morales joining you now with Derek Garland, the president of WellDrive. Thank you so much for joining us, Derek.
Glad to be here.
We want to talk to you about big data. Of course, managing big data, a big challenge for a lot of companies. So can you talk to us about how companies like WellDrive really help with that? Driving efficiency, there's a lot that comes with that.
Right, absolutely. So we've been talking about big data for many years now. It's evolved over time. So initially it was about storage of data, about being able to find places to put it. I think we've solved that problem more or less with cloud solutions, and the cost of drives have come down a lot, quite a bit. So that's not really an issue anymore. So we're finding the bigger issues are now data velocity and data validation. So there's so much data coming in, be it structured data like in databases or unstructured data in reports, and it comes in so fast into operational groups, drilling engineers, geologists, techs, that if you pause to see what it is and what you're going to do with it, you miss 10 more things that come right by you. So implementing systems in place to validate information as it comes in, make sure that it gets put in the right well, it's in the right data category, it's in the right place where it needs to be, and in the right hands of the right people. As soon as it's coming in, so you don't have to worry about putting a system in place, it is becoming ever more important. And then when it does come in and it gets captured properly, gets stored properly, in today's environment with mergers and acquisitions, now you have to pause and stand up virtual data rooms. So it's really important to have it in one place where it's accessible by everybody. And so one of the things that WellDrive does, we work with the operating companies to capture all of the data that gets generated by their service companies, the Schlumbergers, Halliburtons, Baker, Weatherford, all the mom and pops out there that generate something, right? Some piece of data that's critically important. So we work with those guys to capture all of that information as it's being generated, validate it in real time, make sure that it gets put in the right place where everybody can access it. And then whenever it needs to be passed on to a new company, I tell people it's like a house, right? You buy a house, you live in the house, you sell the house, you move out, somebody else moves in. So in our world, the data never has to move. The data gets captured, put in one place, just the ownership changes. And so that's why it's an easy way to keep the data in one place, and you don't lose what's called the data provenance, or the history of the data and all the relevance that makes it important for everybody else who has to handle it down the road.
And really, speaking of down the road, your WellDrive is able to help through the lifespan of the well.
That's right.
Right.
We start in the prospect phase a lot of times. So whenever there's a prospect, we start capturing information like cross sections and all the land-based information, and then when wells start being put together, everything from the planning documents, the permits and the plats and the surveys, and then through the drilling section of the well, the drilling reports, LWD, MWD, any logs, core data, on the completions, the frac data, the wireline reports, flowback reports, production, all the way to P&A.
And really, if you can, telling the future, I guess, is there any next challenge that your team is preparing for to be able to help the market?
Absolutely. So you hear a lot about artificial intelligence, right? And so that's one of the next big things, the artificial intelligence and the machine learning part. So we have all this information, structured and unstructured data, and it's in places like we have in WellDrive. So what are you going to do with it? It's great to have it, and that was the big challenge over the past 10 years, is to put systems in place to capture it. Now what are we going to do with it, right? So I tell people we like to employ a combination of artificial intelligence and actual intelligence. So we have computers and software that's built to help determine what needs to be used, where that data is going to come from, and how to fill in gaps and how to make decisions on that. But we're not quite good enough to do that on our own, so we have our own operations people with engineers and geologists and professionals that can use their experience to combine their actual experience with the artificial intelligence to be able to help make better decisions tomorrow.
And that's what it's about moving forward, of course.
That's right.
Thank you so much for your time, Derek. We do appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
You're very welcome. And for Hart Energy, I'm Jessica Morales.